Peter Franklin, Gabby Cabby in New York City. Good morning.
Good morning, live from the very windy streets of New York.
It is windy, but warm. Do you have the warmth as well? It's like 70 degrees here.
Yeah, well, same thing down here. Everybody's walking around with a light jacket.
Listen, I want to ask you on this John McCain thing and the president going after the Gold Star widow. Additionally, the congresswoman who the president probably couldn't say anything in the world that she'd agree with. What's your take on the whole thing?
Well, I think it's, look, whether you like Trump or you don't like Trump, I think he's getting set up on this deal. I mean, as to what he said to the woman, I don't think what he said, if he said that, was that unreasonable. I think he was, if anything, paying a compliment, because remember, we don't have a draft anymore, so that means everybody volunteers. They know what they're getting into. Yeah. And remember, I'm talking as a father who has 3 kids in the Army, so I can understand the situation, and who have been in combat. That's the job, and I don't think his intention was bad. I think the Congress lady has seized upon the opportunity because she's a very proactive Democrat, and I'm not taking sides, Democrat, Republican.
Sure.
She's a cutie pie. She knows how to play this for all it's worth, and everybody keeps making stupid comments on and on and on.
Don't you feel, though, that had the president not gotten into it, there wouldn't be anything to get into? Had he just come out and said, I meant this in a positive way. I'm sorry it came out wrong. I just apologize. I feel terrible for your family.
He doesn't know how to talk to people sometimes. That's what he needs me. But I think it's more curious.
Peter Franklin taking over in the White House.
Soldiers was so far away from the other 3.
I got to tell you, there are questions in this, and
there is some possible very uncomfortable explanations about that.
I think so too. Yep, I agree. This is going to be the story, and maybe this distraction keeps everybody from asking what went on over there. Maybe that's part of it.
Was away. I'm not trying to imply anything.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that he was away with the vehicle.
Yeah. What's going on there?
And it's sort of like nobody wants to say what they want to say. So I think the Congress lady has really opened up a hornet's nest here.
We have a Broadway show tonight, Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder in Utica. It'll be tonight and tomorrow night. Tickets, some tickets still available. But how about the tickets for Hello, Dolly with Bette Midler?
Well, she's just so unbelievably popular. I mean, and the fact that you would have to pay $1,000 or maybe even more to get a ticket to it is not that surprising. The theaters aren't that big, and she is very, very popular. The thing I like about her, other than the fact that she's a great entertainer, she is a real New York City person. Yeah. She's very active in a lot of New York City stuff. She doesn't just live here. So if she's making a few bucks, that's fine with me, except I can't go to the show.
It's $1,000 a ticket. Hey, tell me, there was a survey taken ranking passenger experience among airports throughout America. And how did LaGuardia make out?
Terrible. It's the worst. And it's my earliest recollections as a kid even, that airport has always been under construction. It's terribly confusing. I think it has the meanest cops on the face of the earth, and it has a very high rate of stuff being stolen there. It's a real mess, and the fact that it came out with a report saying it's the worst airport in the country is not a surprise to New Yorkers. We all try to avoid it any way we can. Go to Kennedy, go to Newark, just stay away from LaGuardia.
As a cab driver in New York City, who, by the way, gives the greatest tour in all of New York City, take you anywhere and places you never even knew existed.
Who are you talking about?
I'm talking about you, and you know I am.
Me? Oh,
and it's Gabby.com for details. It's set up a tour. Christmas time, holiday time would be the perfect time to get down there. Hanukkah time, whatever you're going down for, it'd be the perfect time to take a tour.
Well, thank you for that.
Anyway, how about the fact that GM is going to start testing Chevy Bolt cars in Lower Manhattan that are driving without a driver?
I've read the article. I've heard the reports. I still don't know what the hell they're talking about. I don't see how anybody in their right mind could think that such a thing would be even possible. And much less, I mean, can you imagine yourself getting into a vehicle in New York City without a driver and
I don't get
watching
it.
this thing go around and around and around. And so they say, well, they'll have a driver in it in case something goes wrong. Well, if they're going to have a driver in it in case something goes wrong, kind of defeats the whole purpose.
Yeah.
And by the way, this isn't a plea for me to keep my job. I just don't see how in the world you would do that.
Especially when it must be some really super GPS, because I don't know about anybody else, but if you put GPS, like I'm here right now, sometimes it gets you across the street, or sometimes it gets you located some close to where you are, but not exactly where you are. This must be some great GPS, I guess.
It's very nerve-wracking. I was once asked to test a cab that you didn't have to look at the side mirrors, that it would tell you if there was some car near you.
Yeah.
And I found it very unnerving just not being able to use a side view mirror.
How about this bagel that is selling for $1,000 in New York?
Well, it's a gimmick, of course, but I have a picture of it on the website. They're just raising money for some charity, and it just tells you how important the bagel is. Listen, you got to have a bagel with a schmear and a regular. That's how you start your day off in New York City.
At Fine and Shapiro.
Yes, very good. You got a good memory.
Yeah. My wife and I were clowns in the Ringling Brothers, and that is your statement. You're also, in addition to being in the military, you guys lived a life in the circus. And
well, the point is, the reason I make that point is that we were clowns in the New York thing, because what they do is they use local people as they traveled around the country.
Yeah.
So in other words, if they were in Cleveland, they'd get Cleveland people who were sort of registered with the circus. So we've done that, and every time I read one of these articles about, well, it's out of business now, but how they mistreat animals, absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I was there. I'd be the first to tell you if they mistreated animals. I never, ever saw any animals being mistreated in the circus.
Now, this is in reaction
to
the Elephant Protection Act. Now, is that just in New York City? That's not a New York State law, is it?
I think it's the New York State. I think Cuomo signed it, so that you can't use elephants for entertainment in any way whatsoever. But since the principal user was the Ringling Brothers Circus,
puts them out of business.
Since it's now out of business, I don't see what the point of what's Cuomo doing. But these people make their living on the animals. They took care of them. They loved them and everything.
And where would they be without their keepers and without these? You got to wonder. All right, Peter, thank you so much. We're out of time. It's Gabby.com. Best tour in the city. Enjoy the week. We'll talk next week.
You got it, baby. Bye-bye.
Peter Franklin, the Gabby Cabby.